Okay, wait. It's not like you and I had a lack of options if we wanted a small SUV, right? I mean, there is Ford's EcoSport that's always been the segment benchmark. There is Maruti Suzuki's Vitara Brezza that's as practical as ever. And there is Tata's Nexon that is bringing some spunk to the segment. And that brings us to the question, what does Mahindra's XUV300 bring that will make you sit up, take notice and seriously consider buying one? Short answer, features. Lots and lots of features. Actually, the answer is not really short because the XUV300 has 7 airbags, including one for the knee. Disc brakes, 4, not 2 or 3. Or 3. There's ESP, traction control and hill assist. It's got front parking sensors to make sure the curb you don't kiss. There is a sunroof for that wind in your hair. There are heated wing mirrors too, if you care. It's also got 2 zones of climate control, keyless entry, push button start and cruise control. I think you need graphics for this. And now that I've told you what makes the XUV tempt your heart, I'm now going to tell you what will make your head think. There are a few obvious misses and they're all about the interior. First, this dashboard was designed in 2015. And it looks like that because there are a lot of buttons. The orange backlight for the automatic climate control looks a bit dated, and the MID, though very informative, when you put it in the larger scheme of things, it just looks a bit bland. Also, the buttons to control the MID are here, which might take some getting used to. Then there are minor hiccups like the passenger footwell, that's a bit too narrow. This armrest, it doesn't slide, and for taller people it might feel like it's further back than usual. The pedal box, that too is a bit cramped and you don't have a dead pedal as well. And when you switch over to the rear, you can't help but wonder where all of that 2600 millimeters of wheelbase went, because it isn't particularly palatial. With the driver's seat set to my driving position, I've got just about enough room, but the cabin is wide enough to seat 3 people abreast. Headroom is not a bother as well. Small details, the middle occupant gets a 3-point seat belt and his own headrest as well. What's missing? You don't get rear AC vents or a charger for the rear occupants. That's a bit of a downer, but not much of a bother. What is a bother, however, is this boot. It is as big as a small hatchback, and even though there is some versatility with that 60-40 split rear seat and that adjustable boot floor, I think it will struggle to carry luggage of all the occupants for that week-long road trip. There is a silver lining, of course. For starters, the quality of the switches for the power windows, the leather upholstery and even the size and feel of the steering all feel refreshingly premium. And you have all the other bits you expect from a car in this category as well. A 7-inch touchscreen with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and navigation, reverse parking camera, auto dimming mirror, height adjustable seat belts and height adjustable driver's seat. It's all in there. So that's all that you get for the money you pay for the XUV300. But now let's talk driving. Mahindra is offering 2 engines. There's a 1.2 litre turbo petrol and there's a 1.5 litre diesel. Now Mahindra has only let us drive the diesel. That makes 115 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque. Yes, this is the same engine that you'll also find under the hood of the Mahindra Marazzo, but it has a different map and different gear ratios here. And what's also different compared to the Marazzo is the NVH levels. Now the Marazzo felt a lot quieter, and in this you feel the vibrations a bit more noticeably, especially at idle. You feel them on the floorboard, on the door pad. So yeah, and when we talk about noise, it tends to get a bit noisy, especially if you're gunning. Shared with the Brezza is the 6-speed manual gearbox as well, but it has also managed to share one problem with the MPV. And that is low rev drivability. Under 1500 RPM, you'd really struggle to get a move on. You will really have to downshift. And this is particularly noticeable when you're on an incline. Second gear just won't cut it. You will have to downshift to first. And this is something you'd have to do again when you encounter speed breakers. But get a move on and the XUV300 comes into its own. In third gear, you can practically treat it like an automatic, dropping as low as 20 km an hour and pulling cleanly up to triple-digit speeds. And what remains constant, irrespective of the speed you're doing, is the ride quality. At low speeds, the XUV300 really manages to take the edge off those sharp bumps, potholes or craters, and at high speeds, it remains rock steady. Even at the rear, you've got no complaints as far as ride is concerned. It is comfortable. And we have to talk handling, and let's start with the steering first. In the XUV300, you get steering modes that can be controlled by this switch here. You get 3 modes. There's normal, comfort and sport. Sport, it unnecessarily makes the steering heavy, and normal, it's about all right, honestly. But it is comfort mode that we enjoyed the most because it takes out the effort out of steering without dulling the response. Body roll, that's surprisingly well controlled as well. Even if you chuck it hard into a corner, it's not going to make you feel nervous at any point in time. It is a car then that you will enjoy driving hard and fast. When you're done driving and you park it in your garage, you will see a baby XUV500. There's familiarity in the shape of the projector headlamps and the chrome-studded grille. The daytime running lamp setup adds some character and looks especially good at night. You get a sweet set of 17-inch alloy wheels as well and some LED elements in the tail lamps. For that tough SUV look, you've got 4 skid plates and roof rails. Ground clearance too at 180mm is plenty. Mahindra's XUV300, well, it gets a whole lot right. It's loaded to the gills with features, the quality of materials inside out feels refreshingly positive, and to top it all off, it feels comfortable to drive on a daily basis and hoon on the weekends. So where does it falter? Well, we expected more space from the XUV300 and we have to point out that the boot just feels a bit too small for a car this size. Also, do remember that Mahindra will not be offering an automatic transmission at launch if that is something that's a whole lot important to you. Of course, all of it boils down to the price tag, and Mahindra is hinting at an 8 to 12 lakh rupee price, which for the XUV300 seems about right. So let's circle back to the original question. Is the XUV packing enough to make you sit up and take notice? The answer to that question is yes.